Hey everyone, what's up? Well, it seems Mr. Brock has seen my newest video about his one ridiculous video called More Evil Atheism Embarrassment. He also left a comment on this video after watching it, along with, shortly after that, removing it as a video response. Not just once, but twice. So now we're going to go through his comment and dissect it piece by piece. So we're going to be addressing, first of all, what he put inside of quotations. And it's almost a direct quote from the little clip of his video that I played, except the fact is, instead of putting down evolutionists this time, he's put down atheists, because he believes that evolutionists and atheists are interchangeable words. And the reason he believes this for is because he thinks that all atheists believe in evolution. Hell, to be an atheist, he thinks you have to believe in evolution because we need a creation story, which shows he doesn't even understand evolution, because evolution does not touch upon the origin of life or the origin of the universe, and he's been told this time and time again, but he doesn't listen. He's also been told that not all atheists believe in evolution, and also the fact that many Christians do accept evolution. But yet again, he doesn't want to listen because he just wants to keep on going on with the same crap that he's done all along, sitting here claiming that, evolution is the faith of, atheists and stuff like that, and just continuing to propagate his bullshit. So I'm going to be linking in the sidebar a video where I already address this entire spiel with Brock in response to one of his videos, but of course I doubt very much attention will be paid. So anyway, what he says in reply to that is, "Nice dodge though," which makes me go, what on earth did I dodge, Mr. Brock? See, I addressed a small part of your video to where you claimed that Ida was a little bit closer to Garfield than the evolutionists would care to admit. I showed inside of the article that it said it was a cat-sized creature, not what you thought it was. I also showed that while it didn't fall into the same primate category as monkeys, apes, and humans, it fell into the other major grouping, which included lemurs. I even said that Darwinius is an example of a group of primates. So I didn't dodge anything, but the hilarious thing here, Brock, is you of all people shouldn't be declaring anything about anyone dodging, since you are the king of dodges. And if you would like a good example of, you being the king of dodges, why don't you watch the 3-part series made by the one user who goes by the calling of Anabu86, who pointed out your plagiarism, to where, you'd leave comments claiming that you put down the writers and stuff like that, and, after he made his part 2, you made your ridiculous part of your video, claiming that you had long since listed the writers into the sidebar and everything else, which prompted him to make his part 3. Also, if we look at the comment that you left on my video, you didn't address anything I brought up inside of the video, so there you go. There's at least 2 fine examples of you trying to dodge and trying to, get out of the fact that you didn't read the article that very closely, and also you're a plagiarist. There's other things I could list off, but I doubt very much attention, yet again, will be paid to these things. Next, what he says inside of his comment 100% shows that he didn't watch the video that very closely. He goes on to say that it looks like I'm supposedly brewing a no true evil atheist fallacy, and he guesses all the exposed blundering yada yada yada. Atheist faith train wrecks are the exception, and as he claims it's a mighty long line of exceptions. And then he tells me to try again. Well, just to satisfy you, Mr. Brock, I'm going to be linking to 2 videos in the sidebar. One's made by Dawn Exodus 2, who already addressed these fraudulent fossils, or supposedly whatever you claim about them, and also Anabu86. See, the reason I never addressed that part of your video for is because I said other atheists, along with other people, that believe in your God, have already addressed these things, so there was no point in me wasting energy on addressing something that someone has already addressed and done a much better job on. But apparently, I guess, that escaped you somewhere along the way. I even pointed out that science is self-correcting, so here's a word of advice. Why don't you read up on science and read up on the theory of evolution before you sit here and you make another ridiculous video where you make a fool of yourself, because you're talking about subjects that you have no idea what you're talking about whatsoever, and essentially making a fool of yourself. Also, just a little thing that kind of irritates the piss out of me. Could you stop calling these atheist faith train wrecks? Because I've already addressed this, saying that not all atheists believe in evolution, but then again, you don't want to listen. Also, something else I want to point out before I move on to the last part of his comment is a comment that he left in the one video called "The Atheist Antidote Needs Glasses," made by the user who goes by the calling of I Like Newman, who pointed out much of the same things that I did inside of my video, but his went a tad bit further. The Atheist Antidote's comment says, "I never said any of the things you are accusing me of here, but this was really funny and well made, so you're forgiven." So apparently, the Atheist Antidote didn't say any of those things that I Like Newman, or, I guess others have accused him of saying. Slandering me is a hobby I won't deprive you guys of. Cheers. So essentially, I guess, we're slandering him or whatever. So let's look at Mr. I Like Newman's response to this comment, and then, we'll see, is there a way to check to see if indeed he did say these things? So Mr. I Like Newman left 2 comments that I think do a real good job at ripping apart Brock's bullshit in the comment section alone. I'm also going to be linking his video in the sidebar. His comments say, "You compared it to Garfield. It clearly isn't even feline, as I pointed out. It's over 10,000 years old, so creationism is still bogus. The fossils you pointed out have already been addressed and do not account for the countless other fossils. This is exactly what you've done, and I've called you on it. You never said it. You clearly did. If I wasn't being honest about what you said in the video, I wouldn't have said it as a video response and allowed people on both sides of the argument to compare it. People can check your video out themselves and see what you've done." So, is there a way to check that Mr. Brock did indeed try to claim that it was closer to Garfield than the evolutionists would care to admit? Well, yes there is. I'm going to be linking his video into the sidebar, along with playing the clip that, I Like Newman and I, myself played inside of our videos, except here's the funny thing. I'm going to be playing the original version, not the reposted version. Now, you're probably asking by now, what's the difference? Well, in the original version, he made a very clear mistake that will show 100% that, yes, indeed, he didn't read the article that very closely. So, enjoy.
Well, turns out it's a little closer to Garfield than the evolutionists would care to admit. Turns out we were looking at a feline, some version of a Flintstone pussycat.
Oh, Brock, you thought you could hide this from the interwebs. Sorry, dude, I got my hands on it. So as we can see, Mr. Brock very clearly did misread the article. Now, while I do commend you for removing the blatant mistake you made in the video, the fact still remains that you left in the one part claiming that Ida was a little bit closer to Garfield, and FYI, Garfield's a cat, by the way, than the evolutionists would care to admit. Which just makes me go, did you not see the one part where it says it was a cat-sized creature, and it very well said that Darwinius is an example of a group of primates? Apparently, you didn't. So, while I do thank you for leaving a comment inside of my video and stuff, could you at least next time actually watch it, and see where you made the mistake and actually fess up to it instead of, trying to run away from the fact that you misread the article? Just a little bit of advice for you. So now we've arrived at the last part of his ridiculous comment, to where he says, "By the way, when you sling your mud, be brave enough to show your face." First of all, I need to point out that he made this comment on a video that included no mudslinging and no textbook atheistic attacks of any kind. So it's very clear that I guess that when I make a video that don't include these things, he's going to remove it as a video response. But yet when you look at the 2 other videos I have made to him that I guess you could consider contain textbook atheistic attacks, they're still up as video responses. So you're kind of sending me kind of mixed signals here, Mr. Brock. Also, just because I choose not to show my face inside of my videos doesn't add or take away from my message whatsoever. And if you're trying to call me a coward, which I think you are, you of all people shouldn't be calling anyone a coward, considering since you are a gigantic one yourself. I mean, I just showed the one part of your video that you tried to hide. You're making comments on, several videos pointing out your mistakes, claiming that you're either being slandered, or you never said those things, or you had long since, added the writers into the sidebar of the video, and yada yada yada. You are a gigantic coward. And you just need to stop while you're way, 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 way behind. Because the sooner you do that, the sooner you'll stop looking foolish. So here's a bit of advice that I know probably you're not listening to at this point. You need to stop calling yourself the Atheist Antidote, because you're not trying to reconvert atheists to your faith. You're trying to make sure that people of your faith don't deconvert to evil atheism. And that's all you're trying to do. And why don't you actually read up on the theory of evolution so you can actually properly go against it and actually learn what atheism is? Just a little bit of advice for you, Mr. Brock. So anyway, have a nice night, everyone, and let's see what interesting comment the Atheist Antidote will leave on this video now.